folks, I'm Dan Brown from a sort of interesting life.com. You're joining me on board good old Narrowboat Tilly for the Narrowboat Diaries. Now, first thing that I've got to say right now before we go any further is that this isn't quite the episode I'd imagined, as has happened previously with this series, but this time because I decided to throw my phone with all of the footage that was on it into the canal, never to be seen again. So that's made this episode slightly different from what I was expecting it to be about, focusing more about me getting jobs done on board and more of the on-board elements of life, but unfortunately a lot of that footage is now at the bottom of the canal. So let's ignore all that and talk about what's been going on. In this episode, you're joining me up here about 2 miles or so away from Llangollen towards the end of January, and as you can see, this was a pretty misty start to a day. But, as you're going to see in just a second, it became an absolutely beautiful sunny day, and we've got plenty of footage, luckily, from that day. And one of the things I loved about being moored up at this spot was literally seeing the ruins of Dinisbran Castle on top of the hill there at the back. Fantastic. Well, I'm having a day of odd jobs and tinkering around. It's a beautiful day out there, so finally, as you might see in the background, getting all the Christmas lights in while they're actually dry for once. Then I'm going to do a little bit of touching up the paintwork, the little blue trimmings everywhere, and really just generally get a lot of odd jobs like that sorted today. So nothing major or exciting, but perhaps we'll have some lovely photos to have a look at in a second. Wow, blue skies and sun. Finally, summer's here again. Wait, has it been winter? I really can't explain to you how nice it felt to actually get the lights off Tilly and give her a good mopping down for the first time in months, and then get painting done on the inside, and ultimately I managed to do so many odd jobs so quickly that I decided in the early afternoon that it was the perfect moment to head back to Oswestry to get my bike out to Tilly, as I'd left it at my mum's house while me and my friend had come out to move Tilly previously. And again, I mean, what a beautiful day to walk about 3 miles down the canal to get to the bus stop, then bus goodness knows how many miles into Oswestry, pick my bike up, and then instead of biking straight out to Llangollen, I decided to stop. Well, I didn't decide, I got invited to stop at my friend's house at Western Rin, which is sort of the halfway mark. So there's my fancy floor bed that you just saw there. And then the following morning I cycled out first thing, and as you can see, unfortunately we were back to a very damp looking, very misty grey day, and again, in the usual way, I couldn't sit still for too long. So after being on board for a while and doing some tinkering and writing, all the usual bits, I decided to head up the towpath for about the 2 mile walk to get to Llangollen. And as you can see from this beautiful sort of misty valley, there's almost something a bit foreboding about it all, but it made for an interesting walk with slightly different scenery. And again, I love all this sort of area. You can see here at the top of the Llangollen Canal here, the canal was closed. As you can imagine, that would be full of water, so it was definitely not passable by boat. But one of the main reasons I went to Llangollen was to stock up on absolutely lovely vegetarian bits and pieces from the bakery there, as well as a little bottle of one of my favourite sort of Coke type products. And really, I suppose, at the end of the day, what better way is there to relax and get some peace than get the fire lit, have that beautiful glow, and just enjoy the rest of your evening? Well, certainly when you're full of vegetarian pasties and stuff. After barely a week up here by Llangollen, I decided that I needed to really get somewhere a little bit easier access to get to and from work, and from work to Tilly, and for other people to come and see me and to get to other people and so on. So I decided on the 27th, like I say, I'd only been there about 7 or 8 days, if that. I decided to head down towards Kirkbank. No specific spot in mind really, like nothing was like, well, I have to get here, as is very often the way that's best to plan these boat trips, I've found, rather than go, right, I need to get here and then get stuck in traffic or what have you and take hours to get somewhere. But it was about a 7 mile trip in the end, and it was extremely windy, I've got to say that. And this crossing of Ponkssuth the Aqueduct was quite an interesting experience, as it genuinely made me very glad that the wind was blowing from the right to the left of the screen here, rather than feel as if I was being blown and pushed away to the side that doesn't have the railings. But ultimately it was a fantastic trip. It was very cold, I know that much, and we had passing rain showers, but take away from this trip that it was very windy, as that's very important to the end of our story on this little boat trip. So you can see we're passing down through Pontysuffley and going under the lift bridge here, and again you're in absolutely no rush because, well, you can't really get anywhere very quickly on a boat anyway. At this point I just want to give a quick hello and shout out to a chap from this area, I won't say who and give too much away, who met me on his bike on the towpath and knew all about me from the videos, so thank you very much. It was great to speak to you, and hello. So as you can see on the trip we reached Chirk Tunnel, and then it's surprisingly sunny out here, which the camera angle we've got isn't going to show. But as we were going over Chirk Aqueduct, I got my phone out of my pocket to basically pan around and show you actually how sunny it was at this point. But the wind starts to blow the tripod over, had the phone in my hand, reached forward to grab the tripod, phone flew out of my hand into the canal, and we'll move on from there. So that's the hilarious story of how I threw my phone into the canal. But in all seriousness, I can assure you that I wasn't finding it anywhere near as jovial the following day when I had to go to town and spend £540 on a new one. But we'll move on from that. That's over. That's dealt with. We never have to think about that again. So I suppose really what I did after that incident, like in the immediate aftermath, was boat around the corner and then moor up right around the corner at the nearest possible place at Chirk Bank, and I ran up there and obviously there was no sign of it, so like I say, we're moving on from that now. But one of the important things about spending about a week or so, maybe not even that long, at Chirk Bank itself was it put me right in the heart of where my friends live, just up the road at Western Rin, and getting bus access, which you'll see in a second, to go out and visit me dad, and just really being in a great place to get in and out of Oswestry for work and meeting friends, all the usual sort of stuff. So I suppose really now I'd just like to show you a random selection of all of the different things that were going on, including a quick rundown of some of the animals that you may see more of in this video series as time goes on. Right, let's get outdoors and let's get cute. So as you can imagine, getting back up to the Chirk Bank Poacher's Pocket area where I've previously spent months and months over the previous winters, I got straight back into doing all of my biking up and down these old roads and past the old Iron Age hill fort of Oswestry and all the rest of it. And here's little Pixie, one of the animals I just mentioned, and this is my mum's dog, very nice, very active. This is my friend's cat Andrew, who very often when I'm asleep on their floor will come and sleep up at the top of my head. And here is my mum's cat, looking extremely round in this particular shot, so it's no wonder that she's looking unamused at this point. Now, regardless of anything that you see in these video clips where it looks like a beautiful sunny day, this really sums up what it was like an awful lot over this period. Really, really windy, like nice looking days. I mean, look at this, what a beautiful clip this looks, and how perfect. My apologies, we've got a boat going past. We hear a lot of rocking around at the moment and drawers opening and closing. But when you actually have something like these daffodils to measure what the wind conditions were like in the day, you can see that it was nowhere near as calm and relaxing as you would have anticipated. You're joining me here on another morning when I was setting out to catch the bus to go and meet my dad and my little sister out at Wrexham, and this is the sort of clip I love to throw into these videos to show you how amazing just the most normal thing of life can be, like going to meet Val. Like, is this even normal? It's like, I mean, just seriously, this is literally 1 minute into going to meet my dad and my sister. The most simple, normal thing ever. So I was up waiting for the bus at the village of Chirk at the bus stop there, and then walking around Wrexham and so on while I was doing my shopping. And again, I love to throw in these little clips of how boat life and being on the canal can throw in these incredible scenic things. This is my dad's the cat, a very blurry picture of Merlin there, followed by the spicy chips we had for tea. But ultimately, it's the addition of the great outdoors, and then coming home after seeing my dad and my sister and coming home to a boat on a silent canal and lighting the fire. It's like, I don't know if any of this is as normal as I try and say it is, but it's just fantastic, and it's what I love and what boat life adds to so many simple things about life. Anyway, I need to calm down after that bizarre little rant I went on. Okay, I'm calm now, and I wanted to show you another clip of me walking into work with the wind whipping in the trees, and also just listen to the sound of the wind just constantly howling at the window here at my mum's. Well, my friends, what an absolutely beautiful sunny blue sky day it is. All the classic things that you want to see when you're out down the lanes on your bike. Nice and dry on the ground too. But wow, I don't know if you can hear the wind in the background, but it's a little bit blustery out here, to say the least. Whew. Definitely reminded me how much different it is to go biking in calm conditions, if I can say my words, compared to going cycling out in the wind. One of the things that I've got to say I've loved over these last few days, over the last week really, as we've had real bad windstorms coming in, is just how sort of cosy the boat has been, getting the fire lit, and you can feel yourself being rocked about a bit, and just how like sort of wild it sounds outside, especially if you get a little bit of rain mixed in with it, so you can really hear the wind battering the rain against the side of the boat. Just lovely sort of real primal stuff, I suppose. Crackling fire, safe inside, and loads of wind and terrible conditions outside. If we have stronger winds than what we've had so far any time in the rest of the year, I think that we'll be in some serious problems though. Anyway, on that note, I better get pedalling. As a side note, during the time that I was at Bank and where we're about to move the boat to at the end of this video, it was the last few days that my friends were stopping in their house up at Western Rin, just up from the canal, and so it was like the last time to do these walks up and down over the railway lines to the garden centre. And I wanted to just show you this of the hills over the back of Western Rin, where I've spent so many hours over the years walking up there with them, and walking from Oswestry long ways round and then emerging over those hills after like 15 miles of walking, maybe further, to arrive at my friend's house at Western Rin. And again, as I moved away from Bank on this little trip here, we're only going, I'm not sure how far, about 1.5 miles away down to the Lion Keys, but there was something sort of quite sad really, knowing that it was the last time I was ever going to be moving away down through this area. Well, my friends were literally a matter of minutes away after all these years that I've known them, and all of my boat life really being based around, well, I spend my winters, back when there was the winter mooring permit, in this area, like literally right here, right by the Poacher's Pocket where we are now. Specifically really to go and see them all the time, and obviously having the easy bike access and buses and that obviously played a huge part. But I spent so much time up the road at my friend's house out here over the winters on Tilly that I thought I better just mark it, and I've got a proper video talking about the end of an era really. But ultimately, again, it's those moments that make up life, and I'm not sure how this will alter my life, not having that sort of anchor of my friends in this area now. But I suppose it's important to note that as I moored up and I was trying to get the boat in order, these random sheep appeared. So my friends, this chapter of my Narrowboat Diaries has come to a close, but don't worry, there are plenty more episodes to come. As you can imagine, I can't stop talking about boats and the canal and all that sort of stuff. I really want to just take this moment to say a huge thank you for all of the support that I've had, not only for these videos, but the people who read my books and all that sort of stuff and spread the word. It really does mean a lot to me, and I wanted to particularly take this moment to mention it in one of these proper Narrowboat Diaries episodes, as we're coming up to 4 million views on this YouTube channel now. I mean, that's unbelievable. So thank you so much for everything that any of you have ever done for me, even just the people who every now and then have a glance in and watch a few minutes here and there. It's unbelievable, and having any of your time is more than I could have ever asked for. And like I say, I mean, 4 million views. It's like, I'm a shy lad, I'm painfully socially awkward in real life, and I just happen to carry on posting videos after buying the boat, and it's got to the 4 million view level. So crazy, unexpected, humbling, terrifying, all of the usual words, but thank you so much. As I say, please do check out the other videos. There's literally hundreds of boating videos now on this YouTube channel. Please do also, if you're really interested, have a look at my short Kindle books. It really does help out. You'll find links to those in the description below. And I'd say check out The Narrowboat Lad, my first short Kindle book, if you're really interested. It's really sort of settling in on my first year afloat and that. But anyway, check the links in the description. Ultimately, have an absolutely fantastic day. Wish you all the best, whatever you're doing for 2016 and beyond. And, well, as always, keep it boat worthy. And, of course, farewell.